Welcome back to the show, my people. So the question today is, are our children safe? Now, I have found myself asking this question a lot lately. We have seen and heard of multiple cases of sexual harassment and abuse on young children all over the internet, and some even involving celebrities. Now, this week, I read a story on Diary of a Nigerian Girl that took me down this rabbit hole. Of course, as you know, I'm not doing this alone. I've got Nigerian actor and television presenter Patrick Ekwuem in the studio with us today. How are you doing, Patrick?
I'm doing really well. I was always happy to be here.
Great, great. And of course, I've got a very gorgeous news reporter, Omolola Ololade. How you doing, Omolola?
Very well, thank you.
First time on the show, how does it feel?
Good.
Okay. I feel like you're going to bring the energy I need, so is that what I'm getting from you?
I guess so.
Yes or yes?
Yes and yes.
Yes and yes. Of course. Welcome to the show, guys. Now, before we get into the story shared on Instagram that brought us here, I want to find out from my guests, how safe do you feel children are in this day and age, whether at home, in school, or social gatherings, mental stimulations, social activities, the whole shebang? How safe would you say children are? I would do ladies first, so we're going to start with Omolala. How safe would you say you feel children are?
I must confess, that's the $1 million dollar question, because when you talk about safety, being a mom, I've had to think about this thing over and over again, and not just being a mom, being a 9-to-5 mom. So that means you have to put your children's care in the hands of other people. So it's not a very, very comfortable thing to do, but you just find out you have to do it. So I found out recently, I was bathing my baby, and then I found out that I saw some rashes and all that, and I was like, God, in a private part, I'm like, first of all, it sends a lot of questions, I'm
yes.
like, a lot of things was going through my mind, and I'm like, God, I hope this is what I think it is. I hope it's not what, that kind of thing, and I had to share with people, and then I'm like, okay, I had to read through Google, and I'm like, okay, fine. I think it's something they called, nappy rash or something. I said,
okay.
Yeah, better not be more than this.
Much
more.
When
I started reading, I'm like,
okay, I don't want to get that scared right now.
So
I can't even imagine.
It can be very, very, I don't know, the thought of it alone is crazy.
Yeah. Okay, let me hear from you, Patrick. How safe would you say the children are in this day and age?
It's a thing that scares me, especially with someone who probably has parenthood in view. And one thing I do know is that our generation as it is now, the safety of children concerns me. It's a lot more difficult to ensure children's safety than I would say maybe it was 30 years ago, definitely in the era in which I grew up in, because a lot of things are now normalized, a lot of things are now deeper in circulation, and as a parent, your guard has to be probably 30 times higher than what the parents of the past used to be. So it's a concern. It really is.
Okay. Now let us check out the story that was shared that had us asking this question in the first place. It's quite a long read, but here we go. The story says, "Hi Ife, I haven't texted you before, so I really hope you reply. I have a very, very concerning issue on ground, and I need your help. My niece has been masturbating, yes, playing with her private part, and I am the one that caught her. She's just 7. Her parents like to pamper them. Both parents didn't grow up in Nigeria, so they believe in you can always talk to your child without beating, so she's very disrespectful, and the only person she fears is her teacher and the mention of God. And if you tell her she's doing all what Satan likes, so she gets scared. But the first time I caught her, she was 6. She came to our house on holiday, and I caught her that day. I asked where she learned that from, and she said her cousin came to their house, and she saw her doing it. She begged, and I advised her never to do it again, and really counseled her. Now she's back in our house and left the room we both sleep in and went to another room where no one is and locked herself in. I was checking through a small hole and saw she was doing it. She denied at first until I mentioned God, so she confessed. I told my other sister about it, and we both talked to her and prayed about it. Now I don't even know how to tell her mom, who's my sister, because she'd swear she lent it in our house or react badly to it because her parents are really religious. Now, when I first read this story, I was honestly at a loss of words. Children being exposed to a life they have no business getting into. I honestly can't even blame the cousin, because I'm assuming that she's also a young child who was exposed to this by someone else as well. It's a vicious cycle. But first off, I want to just ask my guests, how do you propose that this type of situation be handled? I will do ladies first with this one, because I feel like it's a really sensitive topic for us. So let me hear from you, Lola, first.
Okay, first of all, I'll say that, parenting in this generation is not what it used to be. and it's not what you even expect it to be. I'm saying that because the world is totally different from what we knew as children.
Yes.
Because while I was growing up, my mom can, when you have visitors around, can easily wink and then understand what she's trying to say. That's a form of communication.
Yeah.
But with kids these days, you can't do that. They don't even understand what you're trying to do. In fact, they're even telling you, Mom, what are you? So it's a very dicey situation. But when it comes to issue like this, and then, I was reading something and I found out that for kids between, the age of 1 to 5, their brain is fully developed. And then between 7 to 14, their characters begin to form. In fact, if not totally formed.
Yeah.
So when people say that, from 5 years, 7 years, they're still kids, yes, they are still kids, but they understand what they are doing. So that is why, as parents, you need to be intentional. Because when I also saw this online, I was like, God, what exactly is going on?
What
a child of 7 years, yes, she's touching herself. She might not fully understand that she's masturbating, but she could get, a sort of feeling, or she knows that what she's doing is not totally normal. So which means that as parents, you need to go the extra mile to watch your kids, to pay attention to what they feed their eyes, what they watch, what they see, what they even listen to, and then most importantly, what they learn from you. Because parents were quick to forget that these kids learn from us first.
Yes.
And then you have to be very, very careful the things that you do in their presence.
Yeah.
So when I saw this, I'm like, okay, so how do we deal with this? First of all, your cousin, how do you pass this to their parent? How do you tell the parent that, but whether you like it or not, you need to inform their parents.
Yes.
They need to know so that they know what they're dealing with. They need to know that this is what they're dealing with, and they need to find the best way to go about it.
Okay, Patrick, how would you say is the best way to handle this situation that this writer has found herself in?
Well, she's rightly suggested that the parents be informed, but I think that taking into context more strategy, you need to think about how the mind of a child works and how the human mind works and how we learn. There's a saying that experience is the best teacher, and that is true in a deep context because we learn via experience. When someone is a child and their brain is basically a blank slate, they learn not really in so much as what you tell them to do, but basically in how they feel about what they're doing. And this is why this is very dangerous, because you can sit a child down and tell that child that this is wrong.
Yeah.
But in as much as that child performs that action and it feels good, it is gratifying to that child, his brain or her brain connotes that activity as good because it's pleasurable. That's why we have the proverb of let kids touch fire when they want to touch fire. Because immediately the response is, this is bad, and they will never do it again because the immediate experience is bad. So my advice in this situation is, you need to create the experience of your child. This is a big thing for parenthood. You need to create the experiences of child. You need to be able to control, not just by verbally speaking, but control what activities are rewarding and punishing to a child so that they are associating what is right and wrong based on these experiences. Things. So you need to create the experience for that child in a way where they can connote that activity to wrongdoing. Just to add one more thing, the major concern about this type of situation for me is when a 6-year-old child is able to identify sexual pleasure at the age of 6, they are vulnerable to people who are malicious, who are malevolent, people who want to take advantage of children. It's an easier path for them because this child already knows
what it is.
The pleasurable feeling. And then when you suggest a way to heighten that, we have a
big problem.
It's a big Pandora's box. We don't want to open that.
Okay, so I personally think that this is one of the scariest things to have to deal with as a parent. Worse still, when you look into the internet and you see an outrageous number of websites that are in support of children of any age to masturbate. And if you check on the internet for remedies and solutions, they tell you to just allow them. This is the madness of the world today. This is the problem of the world today. For you personally, are there any remedies or forms of attention required to handle such situations with children? Would you, as quick as possible, would you say there is any particular remedy you'd say to handle this kind of situations? Let me start with you, Lola.
Okay, so like I said earlier, parenting these days, you have to be intentional.
Yeah. So
first of all, what are the things my child is watching? I have to be very, very careful. Even as little as what she's watching on my phone, on her dad's phone, even in the school. I want to know the things you feed my daughter's eyes.
Yeah.
I just want to be involved in everything, because the thing is, you cannot be too careful. I think very recently I was saying something online when the man was like, how do you have, how do you have pictures of gay and all that for children in their textbooks? in cartoons. For me, that's totally outrageous.
Terrible.
It's terrible. These are kids. I'll say let children be children. Okay. Let them enjoy their childhood. Yes. Why would you allow children watch things that are meant for adults? Because, and you know, that's why children and parents, we need to be very, very careful. Whether you think your children are learning or not, the truth is they are. They're watching. Yeah, exactly. So when you watch, for instance, I think, okay, so just yesterday, my husband was watching something on wrestling. I told him, I said, my daughter is not asleep. She can't. You cannot watch this while she's here. Because you think she's not learning, but she's speaking some of these things. She gets to school, and then, you know, she starts manifesting some of this behind and wondering what's going on. That's because of what she's seen on TV or what she's learned from you, a parent. So you have to make sure that you are involved. It's a very difficult thing now because, you know, combining work, parenthood, and all of those things, it's difficult, but you just have to, whether you like it or not. I get.
As quick as possible, Patrick, are there any remedies or fixes you think that, you know, solutions that can be, you know, taken to handle this kind of situation?
Primarily, it has to be you creating the experiences of your child. And that is alluding to what she said. You need to be heavily involved, not just lightly involved, heavily involved, because you need to be able to control. It's not just telling the child. In fact, speaking to a child is probably the lowest form in which you can teach a child. You need to create what they feel in terms of what is good by how they register it, what is bad by how they register it. And you cannot trust just your teachers. You cannot trust the TV. You can't trust your in-laws or your cousins. You need to take control because no one is going to care about your child as much as you do.
That's correct.
So you need to have that in mind. That's primarily it.
Okay, I mean, you spoke about, you know, you can't trust the TV. And these days, the agenda is over the top with television these days, the kind of things we see in our children's cartoons and all of that. I mean, it is absolutely crazy. Back in university, before my project, I think, I did like a piece on orthodox sexuality themes in children's cartoons. And at the end of the day, it's just showed that there's just so much things. I don't want to say the word trash, because actually that's what it is. That shouldn't be in kids, you know, in kids' cartoons. But before we move on, let's check out this video.
The number one place that toddlers are finding pornography is YouTube Kids. Why? What is the reason behind this? There are videos that have been uploaded to YouTube Kids that appear to be kids' videos. They're animated cartoons and they look, you know, really sweet and innocent from the beginning, but there are videos on YouTube Kids of Spider-Man and Elsa who are stimulating sex acts. There are cartoon videos of strippers. There are videos of Peppa Pig drinking bleach and injecting things into his body. It's interesting because parents, you know, they'll walk by their kids watching these videos on their iPad and they'll say, oh, they're just watching Peppa Pig. When in reality, it's a knockoff version of Peppa Pig that someone has created where he's injecting bleach and other things into his body. There are knockoff videos of Paw Patrol with suicidal themes, and the list goes on and on and on. In fact, there are over 100,000 accounts on YouTube Kids created by child predators who leave comments on videos targeting children.
This is just the sort of terrible times that we find ourselves in. And there is also our very beloved Coco Melon that, I mean, I don't feel like there's any kid that does not watch Coco Melon at this time. So let's just first check this video out.
Oh no, I don't want to brush my teeth. Please, please, brushing is good for you. No, 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 I don't like it. Ew.
Anytime I asked my son to do a simple task, it was no, no, no. He's sitting there watching Coco Melon. Coco Melon's teaching him no, 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 to say no to me. That's not okay. Here's another one.
It's time to eat your peas. No, 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 I don't want to eat the peas. Please,
she's begging him.
Please, the peas are good for you. No, 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 I don't like them. Ew.
She's sitting there begging him to eat his food, and he talking about, no, 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 I don't want to. Ew, it's nasty. Do you know it's nasty? Have you even tried it before you even thought it was nasty? No, this is teaching you that food is nasty, and you can say no to your parents. That's not okay.
It's getting crazier by the second, as quick as possible, because we really do have to move on. Lola, I mean, you're a mom. Do your kids watch Coco Melon?
Of course. Any kid in Nigeria
they watch it. So how would you handle a situation like this?
Okay, so first of all, you need to understand that whether it's a cartoon or it's a movie, it's a form of communication and it's passing across a message. So for me, prior to, you know, becoming a mother, I wasn't so much invested in cartoons. I do not like cartoons. But now I have to, just because of my daughter, I have to watch cartoons. So when she watches Coco Melon, just like you said, somebody saying no, 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 I will not allow her to watch that because I will not come up with a daughter that is saying no to me. because I can't deal.
At all.
So when there's a particular cartoon, I think it's called Bluey or something.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
We watched that together. I had to take time to watch that cartoon before I allowed her watch.
Yeah.
Because I found out that it teaches morals.
Yeah.
It's a family thing. So we both understand that, oh, if she watches this one, it helps her. So that's the thing. I need to choose what she watches.
What they watch. Okay. I mean, Patrick, I know you probably have young people around you, baby, people that have kids. How would you say, as quick as possible, how would you say
it actually relates to me as well, because
Okay.
I tell my parents, when my parents talk to me about, when are you going to, and all that type of talk, I'm always telling them, it's like the way it was when it was in your era. Raising kids is a lot more difficult now. And I think as a solution, what I would propose is still heading back to what I said earlier. We need to create, because, and let me just add this little nugget here.
Yeah.
We need to understand that there are people who intentionally create these sorts of things, especially those of a sexual nature, because they are perverted and they are targeting children. Quick question. Has anyone here ever heard what a map is? What they call maps? Basically, it's a term now used to refer to pedophiles. They call themselves minor attracted persons as a marketing sort of strategy to pamper it and package it and make it look decent that it can push out there. And there's arguments about whether sexual activities should be restricted to age.
It's actually a complete mental situation going on in this world as it is. Okay, I mean, I guess it's safe to say that this generation of parents have got their work really cut out for them. But just before we head on to the itch, here's a clip that I do hope will help out a little bit.
Look, if your kids are watching this show, they might be in trouble, okay? In fact, there's all sorts of studies that have come out that said if your kids are tuning into Cocomelon or shows like Cocomelon, they might be in trouble of becoming more addicted to the screen. So let me give you 5 alternatives to Cocomelon and anything like it that your kids are gonna love. Number 1, you gotta check out Tumbleleaf. I'm telling you, the animation style, the content, the characters talk to the children that are watching it, so it's interactive. Number 2, Daniel Tiger. If you grew up with Mr. Rogers, this is the Tiger animated form of Mr. Rogers. Number 3, it's a classic. We got Bluey. What else is there?
Well, keeping our fingers crossed for parents, and I do hope that somehow we get to thrive past this. Right about now, we will go to the itch real quick. Stay with us. Now, I hope you're enjoying the show so far, my people. Today's itch has got Kasala on the table. And here's the tweet from Akin asking, your car is parked in your premise, rain fell, and your neighbor's fence fell and damaged the car. Who will bear the consequence, the neighbor or the car owner? My first question is, how is the fence your neighbor's fence? Exactly. Why is it now that the fence has fallen down that it belongs to your neighbor? Who's going to bear the consequence? As quick as possible, you guys. Let me start with Patrick. Who is bearing that consequence?
I mean, look, some things just happen.
Okay.
You're just going to have to, I'm sorry it happened, but you got to fix it yourself.
You will fix it. How is this to be your neighbor's fence? Lola, who is going to bear this consequence now?
Well, let's just be kind. I say both of us.
Both of them. But he's not the one that pushed the fence.
Let me ask a question, though. If I'm in my house, I'm just chilling. And then rain fell. I don't even know what happens. I wake up sometime after. I see my neighbor. He's raging. And then hey, Patrick, you've got to fix my car. Rain fell and it ruined my car. What has that got to do with me, bro? That's not my problem.
But how do we know what side of the fence belongs to which person?
Exactly. You said it's the neighbor's fence.
Okay. Because I'm like, both of us, let's just be kind to each other. Bro, just help me. Just help
okay. Hopefully we can be kind to each other. Hopefully. Leave them, my people. It's about time to head on home and enjoy the weekend. Don't forget to be kinder on the internet. Thank you so much to my amazing guest today. Thank you so much, Patrick, for coming on the show. Thank you so much, Omolola, for being on the show. Did you enjoy the show, you guys?
Yes, we did. I did.
Patrick, did you?
You enjoyed my presence up here.
Oh, nice one. I see what you did there. Until I see you guys next week, Yaga Zera Guitar. Have a nice day.